You can send it to my text if you need to do that.
We were thinking the same.
Yeah.
I just didn't, I thought you would have laughed at me.
No, no, I was trying to figure out who I could have do that.
It might be. Yeah, it could be.
And all of a sudden, when it dawned on me, I could have went to the shop and beat myself in the hand for not thinking of it sooner.
Oh,
I was like,
yeah.
who knows? He knows everybody.
There we go. That took care of that.
You go up to this guy,
You give me.
you ask him what his name is.
Gentlemen, are you ready? Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Morning, everyone.
Morning, Mr. Chair. Morning, everybody.
Morning, Mr. Chair.
Is there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Make a motion to approve, Mr. Chair.
I got a motion, I need a second. I got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? If not, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Mr. Administrator.
Thank you, Mr.
employee
Chair.
recognition.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. A couple items this morning regarding employee recognition and even non-employee recognition, but recognition in general. So with that, I would invite Trooper Lieutenant Byerman to come on up, as well as Steve Bozer, Dan Barrett, and Shelby. If you can come up here, please. Gentlemen, today, first off, we're gonna present the Life-Saving Award. This is really neat, and I'll make some remarks here after the lieutenant. But this is a special day. Those present, thank you for being here. It's wonderful to see the support, and we know that this day may not have been possible without these three here. But with that, I'll turn it over to the lieutenant. Let me give you a microphone here.
All right, thank you, sir. I am Lieutenant Carla Byerman. I hail from the Piers area, so if that last name is familiar, that's why. So September 7th, 2023 was a date that changed all of your lives here very significantly. And because of the actions of the three people standing here in front of us, your dad, your grandpa, is still with you. So I'd like to recognize Shelby Erdrich and Daniel Bayert and Steve Bozer for jumping into action when life-saving measures were needed. So on September 7th, Mr. Lucking was on his riding lawnmower and was struck by a vehicle. As he lay in the road, Shelby and Daniel stopped and started rendering aid, life-saving measures, CPR, and about a minute later, after the page went out from dispatchers Jane Holman and Ashley Shackle, first responder Steve Bozer showed up and began putting on the Lucas machine and continuing those measures. So Kurt is still here with us today. So I know North Memorial showed up. He was airlifted to North Memorial down in the cities. And we also were assisted by the Pierce Fire Department, the Minnesota State Patrol, the deputies, the local deputies showed up, and Gold Cross Ambulance. So a number of people assisted in that process, but because of the actions of these three, I think it's safe to say Mr. Lucking cheated death. So I have three award letters here from the State Patrol. All three of these individuals will be recognized at our State Patrol Awards ceremony, which all of the award winners that are assigned in 2024 will be recognized in 2025. But they will be invited to that in February of 2025. So without further ado, I'm just going to congratulate them. So Daniel Bayert, Shelby Erdrich, and Stephen Bozer.
I often talk about, what would you do? And that morning on September 7th, I don't think these three individuals realized where they were going to be shortly after 8 o'clock that morning. I don't think it was luck that the first person on scene is a nurse. I don't think it's luck that we have another professional here that's trained in these first aid matters. And I don't think it was luck that we have a first responder 1 minute out. This was fate, and this really was a life-changing event. We also have some certificates on behalf of the county board to present to these three individuals, and the certificate reads, "In recognition of your heroic and life-saving actions, we extend our heartfelt gratitude. Your dedication and compassion have made a significant impact, and we are proud to have you as part of our community." Awarded this day. It is signed by our county board chair and on behalf of the county board. And before I turn this over to the board, I wanted to give Mr. Lucking a chance if he wanted to make any comments.
Well, it started out as a good morning, turned out into one of the worst days of my life. I wanted been for those three. I don't think I'd be here today. So I just can't see enough good stuff about those people. Because I know I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for those three.
Our whole family feels exactly.
Thank you. Let's give one more hand, please. So if we could have you join the board and we'll get a photo. And if Kurt, if you'd come up, can we get you in the photo as well? Shelby, thank you very much. Come on up. And just head on in behind the board there. Or? Dan, thank you. Congratulations. Appreciate what you're doing. Steve, thank you. And right after the first couple of pictures here, I'm going to have the whole family come up. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Happy to have you.
Way to go, Steve.
Right there's the center. So right up, go right up, move up here. Like this. Put one on each side of you. How's that?
He's gotta get front and center, doesn't he?
You're fine. We'll find right there.
I'll let them look at you first.
All right, family, you can start coming on up. By the time they get these photos done, they'll be ready for you.
One and done? No.
If you got a blue shirt on, you're definitely invited.
I want one more, sorry.
You can go ahead.
Perfect.
Okay.
Rearrange, get them all in here.
Get them all up. You want to set the commissioners up front now?
Thanks for being here.
We'll stay back. Please, come. Somebody get down here, we'll get you. Gotta keep coming.
There you go. That a boy.
Tabitha, you probably need to give us direction.
Yeah, we were just chatting about that. I'm tall. We can see Bobby. You want to jump on my shoulders?
I think I'm good.
I'm just kidding. I think
No, you're good. I'm good.
All right, thank you.
Last one.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah, God bless you. God bless you.
Thanks, Sam.
Here, Jeffrey.
Here, stay safe.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Just wondering, I have one thing to share. I have something frozen up if I can talk to the family.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Can we, Shelby would like to make a couple comments. I'm so sorry I didn't
That's
give
okay,
you the
no.
opportunity. And I also asked the board if they'd have anything to share. And Dan and Steve, I'll ask you as well.
Try to make
through this here. Okay, it was a brisk Thursday morning in September 7th to be exact, my 10-year wedding anniversary. I was on my way home from dropping the kids off at daycare and school. I was working from home at that time and didn't always take the stretch of road to get home. That morning, I decided to go that way, and thank God I did. I saw a big puff of smoke and some debris fly on the opposite side of the road a little ways up. I thought it maybe something catching on fire, or someone had veered off to the side and hit the gravel on the shoulder. In a split second, as I approached what would be one of the biggest tests from God I've ever had, I saw a man roll into the ditch in a very beat-up John Deere lawn tractor. I pulled over immediately, took a deep breath, and said to myself, "Okay, Shelby, this is what you were trained to do. Go do it." For those of you who don't know, I'm a registered nurse and have worked as an EMT for an ambulance service. I have seen people at their worst many times. The difference with that is that during those times, I had all the equipment needed, I had the time to think about what to do, and didn't know anyone involved. This time was very different. As I approached the scene, what I witnessed will forever be etched into my memory. The sound of panic in the driver of the van's voice, the apneic and sonorous respirations of the lifeless man laying in the ditch, and the sound of my racing heart pounding in my chest. I checked a radial pulse, nothing. I checked a carotid pulse, nothing. Okay, Shelby, it's time. You have to do this. I used the only equipment I had with me, my hands, and began compressions. There was another bystander there that I have seen before but did not know his name. At that point, it didn't matter. All we were focused on was trying to give life back to this man. He took over from me with compressions. 2 rounds were completed by the time the first responders arrived. And at that moment, I checked a carotid pulse. Oh my God, he has a pulse. The first responders took over and I stood there in silence, praying this man would be okay. I will be honest, I was not hopeful based on how he appeared. I knew he wouldn't hold his own for long. At some point, this man's wife appeared and his kids started to show up. First responders said who it was, but I truly couldn't believe it until his wife and kids showed up. I grew up with his daughter. I played volleyball with her. I saw this man in the gym stands at every volleyball game. I hugged his daughter and I drove home. I sat in my car in my driveway for several minutes before asking my boss if I could take the day. And then I drove to my parents' house. I was hugging my loved ones while a family was praying not to lose theirs. The days went by while I waited for new Caring Bridge updates. There were good updates and then there were bad updates. This man would have some positive improvements and then setbacks. But one thing remained: the motivation, strength, and determination this family had was inspiring. He began showing amazing signs of recovery, including communication, and then he was sitting in a chair, and then he was walking, and then he was talking, and then he was coming home. Definition of a hero is a person who is admired or idealized for courage, outstanding achievement, and noble qualities. There is one person who comes to mind when I hear the word hero, and that is Kurt. I was just doing what I needed to do that day, and placed in the right place at the right time. But Kurt fought like heck to get to where he is now. He is courageous, has achieved outstanding results, and his qualities of determination, bravery, and resilience are truly inspiring. And that is what makes a hero. Thank you so much for this amazing award. It is a true honor to be part of Kurt's story. I have got to say the best reward of all is driving past Kurt and Joelle's and seeing them sitting together outside with their grandkids. God was not ready to call Kurt home that day in September, and neither were we.
Thank you, Shelby. Banner, Steve? Can't match it. Okay, good, okay. And a special thanks to our State Patrol for putting this together, along with our Sheriff, Sean. Appreciate that, and a special thanks to you 3 here and the family. So, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Again, appreciate that. Again, it's hard to top. I can't top that, but I keep on hearing 2 words. Grandpa kind of chokes me up, and family. And I can see where the strength you guys gave him to recover. So again, thank you very much for that. And I'm sure Grandpa appreciates his family being here, so thank you.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, anything else?
I would say something, Mr. Chair. First off, I want to echo those words of Ms. Byerman, Miss Carla Byerman, that, Kurt, that day, by God's grace, with Shelby and Daniel and Steve, you robbed the grave. We're so glad you're here. God bless you and your family. I tell you what, this is This is amazing. It's a modern-day miracle, and we thank each one of you for it. Kurt, God bless you. Enjoy your life. You'll never look at life the same, I imagine. That's so sweet. Welcome back, my friend.
Thank you. Commissioner Jelinski.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ladies and gentlemen, I've spent my life in 911 centers, in dealing with first responders. This is what it has become right here. This is what first responders do. This is what our 911 center does every single day. This is what brings to life. I support EMS. And I've supported EMS for the last 40 some odd years. And I will never forget, and I will never not support EMS, first response teams, first responders. Takes courage beyond belief, Steve Bozer, to be a first responder, because ladies and gentlemen, you have no idea what you run into. Today, we ran into Mr. Lucking. Thank you for being here, sir. Thank you, first responders. Thank you, patrol. Thank you, law enforcement. Thank you, EMS. Mr. Chair, thank you.
Gentlemen, again, we appreciate you stopping here and telling us your story. Again, it shows how the people of Morrison County really, they're very strong, people here. So again, thank you very much to help one another. Appreciate everything.
Thank you. One more hand for our lifesavers and our families. Thank you so much. Well, Mr. Chair, following that, we'll move to our second item, if that's okay. This morning, we'll recognize our second quarter Award of Excellence recipient. And again, as a reminder, our Award of Excellence program is recognized quarterly. The winners there are candidates to receive the annual recognition. Thank you so much.
Have a great day, guys.
Our program relies on leaders making nominations for those recipients, followed by a panel is met, and that panel consists of the chair, the vice, and 2 department heads that don't have folks that are nominated at that current time or for that quarter. The recipient will receive a trophy to display prominently and proudly at their workstation. They'll receive a coveted parking certificate and a space right near the building. And as stated before, they are in the runnings then for our annual Award of Excellence. So normally on these opportunities, I just talk on my observations and really what I've seen of our employees and what they do. But this nomination is very powerful, so I think I'll just read it. This person treats their coworkers like their family. They will support and applaud their wins and will also hold them accountable when they are wrong. They come to work each day with a smile on their face. They love to laugh at work and truly enjoy the work that they do. It shows. Recently, due to a vacancy, she stepped up to perform extra work tracking data entry and ensuring completeness and to verify the accuracy of the rest of the office. Figured it out yet? All while still maintaining her current caseload and duties because, in her words, bad data can impact someone's life in a negative way. Delray, come on up. The second quarter 2024 winner is Delray LeBlanc Community Corrections, an agent for since 1988, always believing in and promoting data integrity and striving to do better. Round of applause. Did you know? Okay. But it goes on. Delray's co-workers said the following about her nomination. I think Delray should be Employee of the Quarter since she has stepped up to help us all out with us being short-staffed. She has been more than willing to help with anything that we need and made sure that our cases have stayed up to date and our information accurate. Delray completes things to perfection. There are no excuses for not doing your job right. She never accepts things done halfway, and she doesn't believe in doing things good enough. She is always the first person to volunteer to help, and she makes it very easy to go to her for answers. Words to describe Delray: dedicated, energetic, helpful, accountable, accurate. compassionate, goes above and beyond, and even when not asked, direct, caring, proud. Delray has gone above and beyond her daily duties to manage our database system to ensure corrections has the most recent information entered properly into our system, to ensure we are monitoring according to our court's directives. Del has been the glue that has kept this office together since 1988. She has gone above and beyond without anyone asking her to do so. When agents have had questions, Del has been the first one to offer her insight and help. Del is the queen of our computer programs, and we have and continue to eagerly learn more as technology is evolving. Delray always goes above and beyond to make sure her coworkers are taken care of both personally and professionally. She has made it so much easier for all of us. In summary, this letter is for the nomination of Delray LeBlanc as Employee of the Quarter for her dedication to quality work, accurate data, and for always being willing to go above and beyond to help her coworkers in Morrison County. Is there anybody else on there? Oh. Let me get the microphone. Uh-oh.
Ally, she can hear you. Talk. Maybe not.
Yep, I can hear. Mom, I just wanted to tell you how absolutely proud I am of the work that you've done to support not only me all of these years that you've been in corrections, but the entire community. You are a blessing to all of those around you, and you add such a wonderful humor for everybody around you. And I just want you to know how darn proud I am of you and all of the work that you've done over all of these years, but more importantly, in this last quarter. So congratulations, Mama. I'm really proud.
You want to count anything? All right, okay. Thank you, thank you. All right, before I send it over to Mr. Chair, well, maybe I'll do that now. Okay, Mr. Chair.
All right, gentlemen, anything to top with, it was your daughter, right, on there? Pretty tough to follow that.
I don't know how we could top that, Mr.
That was
Chair.
pretty good, but again, it's well-deserved. We appreciate you being here at the county level. And again, thank you very much for helping going beyond what you currently are supposed to do. So again, that just, again, makes the county a lot better place to work and a lot better for the people in the county to come and get help too. So thank you very much. Commissioner Blaine.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Delray, this is a big day for you, but this is also a big day for Morrison County. You set the bar very high in a department that kind of works under the radar. There's not a lot of pomp and circumstance that typically happens within corrections when we have the county spotlight out there. All of the personnel do such tremendously important work for the community and for the county, but a lot of this seems to be done behind the scenes. This gives us the opportunity as a board to say we don't take that for granted and it doesn't go unnoticed by this board. I want to say how proud I am of you for your willingness and that self-motivation to be so driven in your work here within the county family, and to not only just come in and volunteer to carry extra load, but to run your workload at such a high level of excellence, along with providing so much importance to the level of accountability. That things will be right, and when things aren't, it's all right to address those things to make them right. I think that it sets a tremendous example for everyone in this county family, including myself and my fellow commissioners here too. This is a good day for Delray LeBlanc, but this is a really good day for Morrison County. I couldn't be prouder of you, of the Corrections Department, and the Morrison County family. Thank you for all that you do and for the example you set.
Thank you.
Do we have a speech?
I have no speech. I'm not good at speeches.
You want me to kick you in the shin and?
Except thank you all. I appreciate it. This is not easy to be up here, people. But I love you all.
Awesome. And for Delray. So now it's picture time. Yeah.
Picture time.
And you all get to join her here in a couple minutes. Well, about a minute.
Congratulations, thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
In the middle, right here.
Thanks for coming, Eve. Thanks for coming. I think you surprised her.
How's that, Joseph?
Good.
All right. Oh, Tabitha's gonna take one more.
I'll drop my phone.
Thanks for coming. Great team.
Perfect. Can we do it with the whole
Here they come.
department?
He loves pictures.
He does, wants to get his picture.
Oh, no. We're out of time.
Oh, I'm good. Yeah, let's hide behind the chair.
Are you gonna get her picture right away? Okay, all right.
That was difficult.
There we go. Awesome. Wonderful. But I think they're gonna do the proclamation. I think they're gonna do their proclamation. We're gonna go right into your proclamation? Is that right? As soon as they approve the agenda, or the consent agenda. And there's your trophy.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Okay, and then the board clears.
And then all of a sudden it quiets down.
What a great morning. Mr. Chair, that concludes employee recognition and all recognition this morning.
All right, again, thank you for that. Moving on, approval of consent agenda. This will be a roll call vote.
Make a motion to approve, Mr.
I
Chair.
have a motion. I need a second. Are we looking at removing anything from this, or are we just move right along? Looks like we want to keep them all there, so I got a motion and a second. Any, roll call. Commissioner Lemare.
Aye.
Commissioner Blaine.
Aye.
Casper. Aye. Zelinski.
Aye.
Myself is aye, motion passes. Proclamation, Parole Supervisor Week. All right,
Hi, I have to sit to read this if that's all right.
you go right ahead. You need to state your name too for the record.
Absolutely. Nicole Kern, Director of Community Corrections in the wonderful Morrison County.
Beautiful.
And shall I read the
Please.
proclamation? Whereas pretrial probation and parole agents of community corrections are an essential part of the criminal justice system, whereas pretrial probation and parole agents are community corrections professionals upholding the law with dignity while recognizing the right of the public to be safeguarded from criminal activity, and whereas pretrial probation and parole agents are responsible for supervising adult and juvenile offenders in the community, and whereas pretrial probation, parole agents are trained professionals who provide services and referrals for offenders, and whereas pretrial probation and parole agents work in partnership with community agencies and groups to promote prevention, intervention, and advocacy. Whereas pretrial probation and parole agents provide services, support, and protection for victims. Whereas pretrial probation and parole agents advocate community and restorative justice.
Whereas pretrial probation and parole agents assist offenders in becoming productive members of society in their communities. And now therefore be it resolved that the Morrison County Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim July 21st through 27th, 2024 as pretrial probation and parole supervision week.
Jim, I'll ask for a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
I have a
Mr. Chair.
motion and a second.
Second.
Give it to Casper. Any more discussion? If not, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carry. Easy peasy. Thank you, Nicole.
Wonderful.
Picture, Mr. Chair?
Certainly.
All right.
Sure.
One more game.
And the team's coming too, right? Yeah. Of course.
Lemire, he wants another.
That's a good one. I'll follow you right in.
I did break it. You gotta hold it in. But it didn't break.
Oh, very special.
How about if I hold it?
Take a picture of the chaos.
You stand up straight, little baby.
I don't wanna watch.
No, you're okay. Stand up.
Stand.
Otherwise you look like a kindergartner.
Make sure it's not upside down.
Nope, it's not.
Is that chair in the way?
You're not centered, if that matters.
Slide it down.
You gotta direct us.
Jeff, slide that chair down.
Yep, now
Tell them what you want.
Bobby's gotta take a half a step that way, there you go.
You have to give him a step stool.
Yes. About a foot.
See everyone, okay.
All right. Thanks again.
Thank you, guys.
You want this back?
Thank you.
I'm glad it didn't break.
They're okay. Thanks, Nicole.
See Nicole.
Come anytime.
Here you go, my friend.
All right.
Dell, can you carry all that stuff?
I can.
Okay.
And then
All
there was
right.
one.
Moving right along. Health and Human Services report.
Morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Nathan Bertram, Health and Human Services Director. So I'm here for kind of two parts, a small brief update on our opioid funds and where we're currently at, and then the second part of that is looking at moving some of our opioid settlement dollars to communities through our RFP process. So roughly 11 months ago, I suppose, we did our annual community municipalities meeting where we met with all the townships, the cities, some of our law enforcement partners, and really anyone from the community who had interest in attending. We took input from them on kind of where they wanted to see directions of some of this. We launched a survey after that as well to community members to weigh in. And then we reviewed those. I think I was here a couple months after that meeting, and we talked about RFP process and getting that out to the community, as well as kind of a scoring group to review this. So, and that's the process we went through exactly to get to these couple agreements that are before you today. So our team included public health, mental health, law enforcement, EMS, auditing, and social services personnel from the community and internal here at Morrison County. They were the crew that was set to review the applications that came in from our RFQ. We ended up with 8 applications. They were reviewed, scored, rated by that group, which made the recommendation to bring 3 forward. The third one is not ready today, but we'll talk about the 2 that are. So the first one is Horizon Health, and really St. Otto's. Both of these are very similar. They're both focusing on prevention and mitigation of opioids being misused or moved to the community. Both are very focused on internal strategies as far as how they secure their medications there at St. Otto's and Horizon Health, and just making sure staff or residents are not taking meds and removing them from their medication storage areas inappropriately. The Horizon Health ask was for $8,500, and the St. Otto's ask was for $60,000. We, in some discussion with St. Otto's, that final amount was reduced to $45,000 after some discussion about what they were wanting to do and what made sense. And so that would be the dollar amounts before you in those agreements today. And just to update one other piece of this, so I did receive an email from Kurt the other day, just updating that we had received another $239,000 in settlement dollars. So just FYI, and our total as it is right now is $724,177. Between all these grants, eventually there will be a Northern Pines mental health agreement contract that will come before you as well. That one was not ready for today, but we wanted to move forward with some of these ones now and bring that one at a later date. But the total of all three of those would be $123,823 once that is finalized. And with that, that would be my update, and I would look to you for questions, and then if you are supporting our work and where we're at with these contract agreements, I would look for approval for these two agreements.
Mr.
Gentlemen,
Chair.
any more, go ahead.
Just to take us back in time, early in 2022, the county entered into a statewide settlement, which is part of a nationwide settlement with opioid manufacturers. Initial estimate was a $300 million settlement, and based on population size, Morrison County was set to receive 7% of that, or right about. Of that 7%, it would be approximately $2.1 million. 25% of it was to come out in administrative fees and costs, with the remaining being about 1.6 million. Since then, additional pharmaceuticals have been included into this settlement process, so that number is expected to increase. And again, it's a guess. I think we're getting closer to that 2 million mark, but the expectation by the state and in the settlement is that these opioid dollars are invested into one of three areas: prevention, treatment, or other strategies. So that is what these dollars are for. That is part of the settlement agreement. And what Nate started on by talking about his community task force meeting, that was in efforts to get the ideas of where to invest these monies, where they could have the greatest impact in our community. So that's how we got to where we are, to go back. And I do that for Nate, or to Nate, because it happened before he got here. And you know, as a reminder too, Nate was here very shortly, and I said, here, this is your project. So he picked it up from there, and that's where we are today, here before the board.
Gentlemen,
Mr. Chair,
go ahead, Commissioner Linsky.
I'll make a motion, first of all.
Second.
All right, any more discussion?
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
We perhaps all have our own ideas as to what to do with this big chunk, and for the sake of argument, it's a big chunk of money that is coming to those counties that are involved. I believe it's all of them anyway, all 87 are getting whatever they're getting. And I would anticipate that it is each board member's thought process of, this would be a good way of spending it. This would be a good way of spending it. Each department head, this would be a good way of spending it. Personally, I've got my own thoughts on a good way of spending it. It's not like it's a secret. I mean, it is what it is. But early on, and I truly believe in the right step, a committee was formed. Doesn't make any difference, a committee was formed. How are we going to come about the distribution of those funds? It's not going to be me, it's not going to be you, it's going to be this committee that's going to gather and go through applications, whatever it might be, to get to the outcome of an award, if you will. Looking at, and I looked at this already, so it's not my first time looking at this today. I reviewed this pretty thoroughly yesterday, the day before, I can't remember. And it just struck me. We are putting our first time, I believe this is our very first time of actually putting money out there to an agency, and we're looking at our vulnerable community. And that is said in absolute full respect to all of our residents in our nursing-type facilities. And I do mean all of them. But you're there, it's now you're in a vulnerable community, call it whatever we wish, but that's what the terminology is. I couldn't think of a better place for this to go. I still have my own ideas and my own thoughts, but the group got together and came up with this. And Nathan, I just have to tell you, you're doing a leadership role here, and you're doing a great job of it. And I truly believe that this is the right move. Mr. Chair, that's all I've got. Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Lemire.
the St. Autos, I'm just gonna kind of go over what they're asking for is under the prevention of opioid abuse, or it's not abuse, it's the dispensing of opioids. Funds will impact infrastructure, staff that aim at preventing opioid misuse and overdoses by purchasing new secure medication carts, pharmacy refrigerators, as well as upgrading medication rooms for enhanced security. And it's not only gonna help with the overdosing of opioids, it's gonna be the overdosing of multiple types of medications. That's all I got.
Gentlemen, anything else? And again, to follow up that, I mean, they're asking for new refrigerators. I mean, it's just not those things. You brought up, Nate, that we have 700 and some thousand. We don't have that in the bank, do we?
We do at this time. And when we started the RFP process, we had 376,000 roughly in the bank. And so when we were looking at how to adjust and set how much to put out for an RFQ at the time, we took roughly about half of that, and that's kind of, we ended up with that 130-ish thousand is what we had kind of thought we would try to get out this round, then we'd have enough for 2 years. And now that has changed, so.
Yeah, okay.
Mr. Chair, the other part I forgot to mention was this payout settlement is to occur over the next 16 years now. It was originally 18, now time has passed.
And that's what I was gonna bring up too. This is not something they're gonna put $2 million in our, it's over a period of time. Plus, we can wait today, tomorrow. We don't all have to put it in the hopper and spend it right away. We can always keep these applications open. And I vaguely remember this committee, you know, that's them making that decision. It's not, you know, one individual where it goes. So it's vetted very properly, and this money stays in the county to help, you know, say prevent not just the opioid, but, you know, teaching people, you know, the correct way to how, I don't know, what, dispense it, or however, I'm trying to find out where it was. But yeah, and again, for St. Otto's, it's well deserved for them too. So again, thank you very much. Gentlemen, any more discussion? This will be a roll call vote. If not, Commissioner Casper.
Well, I was just going to say, thank you, Mr. Chair. Nate, thank you. This, you know, you came into this job and right away you're plowing new ground that you're not experienced with. This is brand new for everybody, and thank you for how you've handled it. You've done just an amazing job, as Mr. Jelinski has said. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Zelinski.
I just have one more thing. Nathan, if you can explain, perhaps, or answer the question maybe. Let's say we did nothing and we just left all of that money in the bank for, I believe the administrator said 18 years. At this time, it's coming for 18 years. Could we do that?
You can do that, and so
I don't
you
know
can.
why, but.
You could, and you would collect interest on those dollars during that time, and the only stipulation is, it doesn't matter if you left it there for 16 years or 20 years, the stipulation is you have to use it for the same opioid mitigation strategies whenever we decide to spend it.
Exactly what I was looking for, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much.
All right. All right, any more discussion? Again, this is a roll call vote. Commissioner Casper.
Aye.
Commissioner Jelinski.
Aye.
Commissioner Blaine.
Aye.
Lemire.
Aye.
Myself is aye. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Nathan.
Thank you, Nate. Have a great day.
We have one more thing to do.
Amy, we got it.
Amy, it looks like you're up. Moving right along. Land Services.
Morning, Miss Amy.
Good morning, Amy.
Morning. All right, I have one item for you today, gentlemen, and this is to consider the proposed floodplain ordinance amendments that were heard by the Planning Commission at their last meeting. They did recommend approval of this section, so essentially what this is a complete replacement of the floodplain section of our land use control ordinance. The purpose of this, or the reason why this is coming forward, is because Morrison County was recently remapped by FEMA. So we have updated the maps, and therefore need to adopt those maps as our official floodplain map, and then also make sure that we are complying with the minimum federal and state requirements for floodplain. And this ordinance has been reviewed by the Department of Natural Resources, our FEMA liaison there, and we have received a letter of preliminary approval saying that this document does substantially meet those minimum requirements.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Lemire,
make a motion to approve.
I have a motion, I need a second.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion? If not, I have a question or a comment.
You bet.
So since the floodplain has changed, and if
Yes.
I'm on a lake or on a river, I know especially on the Mississippi side there, those people were 5,000 feet up, but again, I'm just exaggerating, but are they gonna be notified? Because I know some of these insurance companies are requiring them that, because they're in a floodplain, to have flood insurance. Do they get notified of this?
I can tell you with certainty that if a property gets mapped within the floodplain due to this change, their mortgage company will reach out with a notice that they need to now get an insurance policy. For those where the areas where that has contracted and these properties are coming out, they may not necessarily get notified of that. So if I would say particularly like along the Crow Wing River, it's a great example of areas that have historically been mapped in the floodplain that are coming out, that they can definitely call us and we can verify whether or not their property has come out. Sometimes they may need to prove that they're out, and we can help them with that with an out as shown letter to their mortgage company to release them of the requirement to have that flood insurance.
And is this officially come into effect yesterday, today, or is it like?
So our maps must be adopted by July 31st, and so that is the effective date for this.
All right, thank you. Gentlemen, anything else? Commissioner Zelinski?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ms. Amy, I'm just curious as to where can one get or purchase such a map, and/or where can one view such a map? And I'm pick person A, who just lives in the county and says, you know what, I wonder if I'm in a floodplain. For whatever the reason, doesn't make any difference. I don't know that I am. Where could I find that out?
Couple of spots. Sure. The FEMA website maintains all of the floodplain maps for the United States, and so you can do an address search there. Otherwise, our Beacon website does have this updated floodplain layer available, and so you can search your property and turn that floodplain layer on. So those are the two ways you can do it from home. Otherwise, if that's not making sense, we're more than happy to look that up for them.
Perfect, Mr. Chair, thank you.
Thank you. One other comment or question, when it comes to the county board,
Yes.
did we make this decision? Do we have to follow this decision, or is it FEMA, is this like, this is a mandate, that this is, you're going into a floodplain, the board has nothing to say about it, or you're coming out?
Wonderful question. We do have some choice. We have choice on whether to participate in the National Flood Insurance Program or not. And that's a decision that you're making for your constituents on whether or not you're going to make the National Flood Insurance Program available to the residents of Morrison County, which allows those federally backed insurance policies and then also access to FEMA funding when things go wrong. If we don't participate in the program, we take that off the table for all of our residents. And so, yes, we have a choice, but it has been the historic choice by the county to make sure that that federal program is available to all of our residents. And in order to do that, we do have to make sure that our ordinance is complying with those minimum standards.
And with those minimum standards, again, to clarify, we don't have to be into this program, but those people still, if they're put in the floodplain, they're in the floodplain. The board has nothing to say about that.
That is correct. If they're, regardless if we participate in the
Correct.
National Flood Insurance Program, it will just dictate how much they have to pay for their insurance policy.
Thanks for clarifying. Thank you. Gentlemen, anything else? I have a motion and I have a second.
No roll call
All
necessary.
right. So this, okay, got a motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
All right, thank you,
for
Mr.
that.
Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Amy.
Oh, moving right along. Administrator report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thanks, Amy. I just have I have a statement to read.
Please.
So this is in regard to the IT outage, or the cyber outage that we've seen across the country. Notably this morning, I see it's still potentially impacting our airports. But as far as how did it impact Morrison County? Last week, July 19th, there was a massive outage that made a significant impact to varied and variety of services globally. The Morrison County IT team acted swiftly and remediated the systems that were affected by this outage and were able to keep the impact to a minimum to Morrison County. The IT team continues to monitor the situation and the aftermath of this outage. The CEO of CrowdStrike put out a message to all customers and partners informing us that this was not an attack and their operations are operating normally. With any large event, threat actors will attempt to exploit and capitalize on this. Stay aware of with whom you are working with and providing information to. Mr. Chair, that's all I have this morning.
Gentlemen, do you have anything? Well, we have nothing there, so, when are the dates, Tabitha?
We shall go July 28th through August 17th. We have 3 weeks.
17th, okay. Well, let's take a look here. We'll just start on the end. Commissioner Zelinski.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm going to start on the 29th. At 10 o'clock in the morning, I'll be at the City of St. Cloud for an SECB planning meeting. They are scheduled for at least one a month and will continue throughout 2024, and I don't know what will happen into 2025. This is all dealing on a state statute update in regards to the State Emergency Communications Board. On the 30th, 8:30 in the morning, we've got a planning meeting here in the boardroom. And at or about 10 o'clock, the Drainage Authority is going to meet here in this room. At 5 o'clock that same evening, there's going to be a cannabis public hearing that the board will have. At 6 o'clock that evening, or thereabouts, there's a PCBOA meeting. And for the record, there is no PC that day. There is a Board of Adjustment meeting that will take place, but there will be no Planning Commission meeting that day. On the 31st, I'll be in the City of St. Cloud, starting at 11 o'clock in the morning for a Central Minnesota Executive Committee meeting, and I will stay there through the Central Minnesota Emergency Services Board meeting, which starts at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. On August 1st, 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm scheduled for a SECB Legislative Committee, which is virtual. On Friday the 2nd at 8:30 in the morning, we've got a planning meeting at the landfill, I believe.
Public Works.
Public Works, thank you, because I made an error there. Okay. And on the 6th of August at 8:30 in the morning, we've got a planning meeting. On the 8th at 10 o'clock in the morning, I have the Central Minnesota Emergency Services Board Next Gen 911 meeting that's virtual. On the 9th of August at 10 o'clock in the morning, I've got a Central Minnesota RAC meeting. That is a virtual meeting. I believe we're going through the 17th. On the 13th of August at 9 o'clock in the morning, we've got a county board meeting right here in the county boardroom. On the 14th, I believe there's a department head meeting at 8:30 in the morning that day. Let's off on the 15th at 10 o'clock in the morning. There's a Central Minnesota Owners and Operators meeting, and that's a virtual meeting. At this time, Mr. Chair, that's all I have.
All right. Commissioner Casper, you have anything to add?
Yes, not in July though, starting in August, going all the way down to the 8th of August at 6:30, Camp Ripley Veterans State Trail meeting at Little Falls City Hall. That's Thursday, the 8th of August. Then the 9th, they have a rural development meeting over at Pine Country Bank at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on that Friday. Then moving down to the 13th of August, Tuesday, I have a community development meeting at 11:15 over in Upsaw at the new restaurant there. And then on the 15th at 12 o'clock, that's Thursday, airport meeting over Little Falls Airport. And that's it. Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Chair.
you. Commissioner Blaine?
I have the Sobieski, City of Sobieski picnic on Tuesday, August 6th. That's not a public event, and it's an invitation-only event, but I will be there from 5 to 7 on August 6th. I will remind everyone that primary election day is August 13th. On the 15th, I believe there will be a Egg Society meeting
At the fairgrounds?
at the fairgrounds. Other than that, that should
Thank
be
you,
it.
Commissioner Blaine. Commissioner Lemire?
Did anybody mention the cannabis moratorium public hearing?
Yes.
Okay.
Jeff did.
31st, HRA, 9 o'clock. On the 8th, oh, probably got that. 12th, the Yellow Ribbon Committee, 3:30. That's it.
Okay.
Oh, no, 10th, Lake Alexander Lid meeting, 9 o'clock, Scandi Valley Town Hall.
Okay, with that, I'm gonna be at the Bellevue Township on the 7th at 7 PM, Bellevue Township Town Hall. Otherwise, pretty much that. I just wanna make a big announcement. Platte River Days is this Saturday in Royalton. So we have the fabulous armadillos. I'm a Lions member, so please come and join us. We got the parade at 11, all those good things going on there, so otherwise,
Mr. Chair, after you're at the Platte River Days on Saturday, then you can come over to Our Lady of Lourdes Bazaar on Sunday.
and what time does that start?
And that starts it starts with mass at 10:30 with a polka mass at 10:30. And then there'll be music and food and auction and all kinds of fun.
Oh, mine is the 27th, this is the 28th.
That is correct. That is correct.
So any other real important announcements, Commissioner Zelinski, are you going to the doctor or anything like that at all we need to know?
I don't think anybody is interested in teeth or doctor appointments or anything like that, so.
And I'm gonna just kind of bring up this cannabis, and I hope it gets into the paper. We did put that in the paper, and just to help that, because that's at 5 o'clock, that's gonna be here at the board meeting next Tuesday. And anybody's welcome, it's a public, they can speak out, or however we'll do that, and go from there. So if it goes over a little bit or under, and my point is, if there's a lot of people, maybe we'll have another one after that as a public hearing, so. we can discuss.
It'll be a smoke-free meeting.
Smoke-free.
Bring your own
Yep,
weed.
exactly. Anything else? We will adjourn at 9:59.
Joseph, I noticed